This presentation is about Macy's department store and their current situation. It will be presented by Matthew Buyny, David Damaske, Daniel Lawrence, Robert Massey, and Natalie Sidhu. This presentation will examine Macy's current strategic issue, discuss the company and industry, delve into a SWOT analysis, investigate Macy's global business strategy as well as their corporate strategies, review Macy's firm performance and its future possibility. Hi, I am Natalie Sidhu, and the first subject I will discuss is Macy's current strategic issue. In August of 2016, Macy's announced that it would be closing 100 stores by early 2017. An article written by CNN revealed that Macy's closures came after a 6th straight quarterly decline in sales. However, after the closure announcement, sales fell less than feared, and the company said that it was encouraged by recent sale trends. Wall Street actually applauded the announcement of Macy's store closures by raising its stock price by 17% the day of the closure announcement. Surprisingly, it was the best day Macy had seen in the stock market since 2008. Macy's new business strategy is to concentrate its financial firepower and talent on its best performing locations. The department store plans to invest in the strong stores by highlighting new vendors, increasing the size and quality of its staff, and investing in new technology. Macy's CEO Terry Lundgren said in a statement, "We operate in a fast-changing world, and our company is moving forward decisively to build further on Macy's heritage." Initially, Macy's said the store closures could result in the loss of about $1 billion in sales, even after accounting for shoppers who would go online and to other Macy's locations. Second quarter 2016 has seen the worst profits since the Great Recession. The company plans to offset the loss in sales by cutting costs, even beyond shutting down more stores. Brick and mortar stores are still very relevant, but right now America is overstored. Apparel is the #1 item being purchased on mobile phones. Some analysts are predicting online retail giant Amazon will overtake Macy's as the largest U.S. apparel retailer by 2017. Macy's is not the only big box retailer planning on closing stores in 2016. Walmart is closing 269 stores, including 154 inside the United States. Kmart is closing down more than 24 stores over the next several months. JCPenney will be permanently shutting down 47 more stores after closing a total of 40 stores in 2015. The Gap is in the process of closing 175 stores in North America. Aeropostale is in the process of closing 84 stores all across America. Finish Line has announced that 150 stores will be shutting down over the next few years. And Sears has shut down about 600 stores since 2015. So what do these closures mean? When speaking in terms of economic effects, we can anticipate higher unemployment since the people who work in these clothing stores will soon be without jobs, and many suppliers will also have to downsize its workforce. We will also start seeing higher prices on apparel items, since transportation and distribution companies that used to move all of Macy's inventory will have to increase their cost, which will cause future inventory in stores to be priced higher. Crime will potentially increase. As financial desperation increases, so will crime. And it won't just be property crime. We can expect a rise in violence as property owners fight back. When speaking in terms of the retail industry, there is a shift in customer focus. Most retailers that anticipated this shift in customer focus already have a web and mobile presence. There will be more changes in shopping trends since changes are being directed by consumers, not the people sitting in the leather boardroom seats. Changing technology will most likely shift consumer shopping behavior again with time. There will also be a larger market share for niche and online shops. With the decrease in brick and mortar options for consumers, they will be forced to shop online or in expensive boutiques. Boutiques that serve the niche market will start popping up to fill the gap that is left behind by the big box retailers. In this section, I will give you insight into what Macy's is all about and the industry that they are in. Macy's was established in 1858 as a small, fancy, dry goods store that opened on the corner of 14th Street and 6th Avenue in New York City. As of April 2nd, 2016, the company operates about 870 stores in 45 states with sales around $27.1 billion. Macy's also operates under the names of Macy's Backstage, Bloomingdale's, Bloomingdale's Outlet, and Bluemercury. Macy's diverse workforce includes approximately 157,900 employees. Always the innovator, Macy's is known for several firsts that changed the retail industry. Macy's was the first retailer to promote a woman to an executive position, making business history. Macy's pioneered such revolutionary business practices as the one-price system, in which the same item was sold to every customer at one price, and quoting specific prices for goods in newspaper advertising. Known for its creative merchandising, Macy's was the first to introduce such products as the Idaho baked potato and colored bath towels. Macy's also was the first retailer to hold a New York City liquor license. Macy's is also known for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, 4th of July fireworks, and world-class window displays. Macy's products include products for your home, bedroom, and bathroom, apparel for women, men, juniors, and kids, shoes, beauty supplies such as makeup, and jewelry and accessories. Macy's pricing structure is moderate to high. Macy's usually positions its store as anchors or standalone. Also in big cities, they try to have locations in the central business district. Macy's promotions include weekly sales, coupons, and a customer reward loyalty program called Macy's Red Star Program. Now to focus on the overall retail market's current state. The retail industry is a sector of the economy that is comprised of individuals and companies engaged in the selling of finished products to end-user consumers. An estimated 2/3 of the U.S. gross domestic product comes from retail consumption. Therefore, store closing and openings are used as an indicator of how well the U.S. economy is doing overall. Retail bankruptcies have increased year over year by 24%. Recent headlines are proclaiming that retail bankruptcies and issues are just the beginning of the retail industry's downward spiral. But is that the case? Numerous reports state that e-commerce is forcing out brick and mortars, and according to most reports, regional malls are doomed. Brick and mortar stores incur high operational costs than some e-commerce stores. These cost savings allow online companies to undercut traditional department store prices, sometimes by a great deal. Not only do consumers like the convenience of e-commerce, they love the feeling that they are getting a deal. But will this shift in consumer behavior destroy malls? Department stores historically served as mall anchors, but since department stores aren't doing so hot, mall landlords are increasingly looking to fill vacant space with other types of stores like Lego Discovery Centers and restaurants to drive traffic to mall properties. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, U.S. retail sales have increased an average of 4.5% between 1993 and 2015. The overall retail industry isn't doing as poorly as some might suggest, but since consumer preferences are changing, many big box retailers are looking to e-commerce themselves to reap some of the benefits. So what's in store for the retail industry? First, there will be fluctuating demand. Households create demand for the retail market. So as households save or spend, the retail segment contracts or expands. Consumers are changing. People nowadays don't have the time to shop, and they are looking for a more convenient and easier shopping experience. Actually, if they were anything like my husband, they would pay more for the exact same item as long as they didn't have to make the trip to the store. Technology is also changing. Internet speeds are getting faster and websites are becoming more secure, which means consumers feel more comfortable shopping online. When technology changes, changes in consumer preferences seem to follow. Over the past 5 years, supercenters, warehouse clubs, and e-tailers have siphoned sales away from department stores. Since Macy's competes in a competitive market, there is a vast array of substitute products, brands, and options with varied advantages. Profit margins for large retailers like Macy's are expected to decrease slightly over the next 5 years as low-cost department stores will encompass a greater share of the segment and major players continue to leave the segment. There are also internal and external factors that are favorable and unfavorable for Macy's that they need to identify while they look for strategies to stay afloat. I will pass on the presenting to David so he can discuss Macy's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Hi, I'm David Damaske, and I will be discussing Macy's SWOT analysis, its competitive advantage, and international strategy. There are numerous opportunities for Macy's in which to maintain and grow their market share and overall company. First, Macy's can look to establish discount outlets. Many of their competitors have these, and it can bring in a new customer base and add profits to the bottom line. These are usually wildly successful for those stores that have gone this route. MOM is an industry-leading hybrid online brick-and-mortar platform that, with continued use and development, can further aid in Macy's growth. Macy's can look to buy e-tailers and further their reach and offerings. Emerging markets is one area that Macy's can really benefit from. They currently only have one Bloomingdale's store outside of the US. They are focusing more on the wealthy Middle East, but there is a strong middle class in India and China that Macy's could possibly benefit from having a presence. If Macy's doesn't want to expand their brand, they could look to strategically purchase or merge with an international retailer to expand their footprint. Should Macy's continue to expand internationally, they look to be involved in corporate social responsibility, specifically regarding environmental or labor issues in the countries they are in or source their products from. Macy's is trying to compete with Amazon in the online space, and they are moving to fulfillment centers to accomplish this. With their MOM platform and their national footprint, this could be a game changer. Opportunities also exist to improve cash flow and profitability by closing underperforming stores. Macy's has many strengths on which to draw on. Consumer spending is expected to continue to rise, which will help sales. They are introducing new product ranges and private brands, and many of them are exclusive with celebrities like Madonna and Diddy. Bloomingdale's is a strength due to the attraction of high net worth customers who tend to have less issues during economic downturns. Macy's also enjoys almost unparalleled name recognition, and they are ingrained in American culture. They are at most malls and have hosted the Thanksgiving Day Parade for decades. Macy's customers tend to be extremely loyal to the store and its brands and won't shop its competitors. They are over 800 stores strong, and because of that enjoy penetration into most markets, and they benefit from the economies of scale that this provides. Macy's customer service is highly rated and is consistently among the best in the industry. Their MOM hybrid platform is unique in the industry and gives them some competitive advantages. Macy's weaknesses are nearly as numerous as their strengths. First of all, they have over 157,000 employees, and with this comes high costs with things like turnover and benefits. With more than 800 stores, Macy's has tremendous costs revolving around their real estate, buildings, and leases. Being in the retail sector, Macy's is very susceptible to economic downturns, which can lead to reduction in consumer spending and thereby hurting sales. Since the recent economic downturn, many consumers are conditioned to look for and wait for sales as opposed to before. Previously, more consumers would buy regular price when they saw it. This leads to more frequent sales that can bite into revenue. Macy's is not very diversified to withstand changes in their industry. They primarily rely on the Macy's and Bloomingdale's brands. Should anything happen to them, then they have no cushion to soften the blow. Due to their size of 800 plus stores, Macy's can't continue to grow much, and this is leading to lower annual growth rates. And an extremely small foreign market presence is a major weakness of Macy's. Should they expand internationally, it can help offset the low annual growth rate. Multiple threats exist for Macy's which could derail their growth and future profitability. E-tailers are a major thorn in the side of brick-and-mortar retailers. They have a reduced cost structure, so they are able to offer goods at lower prices. The evolution of supercenters has also had an effect on department stores. Over the last few years, Walmart and Target have begun and then expanded their efforts to offer clothes, home goods, and groceries under one roof and at lower prices than department stores. This offers the consumer one-stop shopping, and these supercenters have benefited from this since America is so busy these days and Americans look for convenience. Just like Macy's has exclusive private brands with celebrities, so do their competitors. An example of this is Martha Stewart's line at JCPenney. Macy's has a history of litigation issues for various reasons. There is no reason to expect this to not continue as it has in the past. Another hit in profitability for Macy's has been the increased minimum wage in some U.S. cities. When a good majority of their workforce has to be paid an extra 50 to 75%, this can dramatically eat into profits and threaten their survivability. Now let's look at Macy's competitive advantage. Macy's has 800 plus stores across North America. This brings recognition, access, and a footprint in nearly every city. Their MOM platform is industry leading. They have found a way to combine a hybrid store and an online model that their competitors have yet to figure out. Macy's leadership is known for its ability and willingness to embrace change and look to continuous innovation and process improvement. Large investment has been made in their supply chain and IT platforms that allows them to base particular products in a particular market based on customer buying patterns and desires. This, combined with the MOM platform and fulfillment centers, should help position them positively in the industry for the near and intermediate term. They also tend to keep a tremendous amount of cash on hand. This has helped and will continue to help them weather any downturns that have or will inevitably happen. By doing this, Macy's can afford to not be so reactive as more cash-poor retailers or have to liquidate at the same rate. We feel that Macy's could benefit greatly from an enhanced international strategy. Macy's is initially focused on Bloomingdale stores in the wealthy Middle East. Currently, they only have one store, a Bloomingdale's in Dubai, that is outside of North America. Another is slated to open in Kuwait in 2017. Macy's has no other international store presence. They do ship to other countries, but there is no way for a customer to visit their stores. They would benefit from merging with an overseas retailer or expanding their Macy's and Bloomingdale's brands internationally. As mentioned before, there are multiple wealthy areas and countries with growing middle classes outside of the U.S.
Macy's and Bloomingdale's global business strategy is to continue its progression as the industry leader and premier omni-channel retailer for the continuously evolving consumer population. Because retailing is such an uncertain and dynamic business, Macy's is utilizing its strategic flexibility to implement multi-channel strategies directed toward providing personalized merchandise and a personalized shopping experience. As the industry continues to globally expand, Macy's is responding aggressively to reinvent a marketplace that gratifies existing customers and acquires new ones through innovative approaches. Strategies to achieve this vision include acquiring Bluemercury, reducing expenses, obtaining value from current real estate, and adapting to customer buying behaviors. Bluemercury is an American luxury beauty retailer and spa founded by Marla Beck in 1999. Its first location was opened in Washington, D.C., and quickly expanded to become one of America's largest and fastest growing retailers for high-end beauty and makeup products. The chain has since multiplied to over 100 locations throughout the United States. Bluemercury was Macy's first acquisition in over 10 years with a cost of approximately $210 million. Macy's is confident that this addition will broaden the department store's customer base, giving shoppers more reasons to frequent its locations while also adding a new dimension to its product offering. Macy's strategy is to continue the expansion of freestanding Bluemercury stores to prolific and upscale neighborhoods. A total of 115 stores are anticipated by the end of the year 2017. Macy's also plans on continuously improving Bluemercury's online business and incorporating Bluemercury shops into existing Macy's stores. Macy's Incorporated and Bloomingdale's have established a series of cost efficiency improvement measures to reduce expenses and tighten capital spending. These initiatives are targeted to reduce annual selling, general, and administrative expenses by $500 million and to reduce capital spending from the previously planned $1.1 billion to $900 million for a savings of $700 million by the end of the year 2018. To achieve these goals, the organization is set to close 40 underperforming store locations. Additionally, it will cut 3 to 4 sales positions in each of its 770 remaining locations nationwide for a total of approximately 3,000 jobs. Furthermore, Macy's is implementing the voluntary separation and retirement for 165 senior executives with future plans to not replace 35% of those positions. Continuing, Macy's will also be eliminating 600 positions in back office organizations by simplifying specific job processes and combining and reassigning other positions. Macy's will also be consolidating its 4 existing credit and customer service center facilities into 3. The execution of these actions allow Macy's Incorporated to pursue operations more efficiently through an organization that is flatter and more agile, while still providing ample resources for major investments in technology, digital advancement, physical store improvements, and other growth initiatives. Here we begin our list of the 40 store closings Macy's has planned in the upcoming year. Here we continue our list for the second half of the store closings Macy's has scheduled. Macy's and Bloomingdale's are continuing their pursuit to create value through initiatives to monetize the company's significant real estate assets. Macy's has commissioned Eastdale Secured, a leading real estate-focused investment bank, to bring in clients for potential partnerships and joint ventures in a manner consistent with Macy's overall strategy to gain a profit from its existing mall-based properties as well as its valuable real estate locations in Manhattan, San Francisco, Chicago, and Minneapolis. In addition, Tishman Speyer, an international real estate owner and developer, has expressed interest in partnering with 4 of Macy's flagship locations, including a deal worth $270 million to recreate Macy's Brooklyn store for the purpose of revitalizing Brooklyn's dynamic New York neighborhood. Macy's has already sold its underutilized upper floors and its downtown Seattle location to Starwood Capital Group for $65 million. With brick-and-mortar locations worth approximately $21 billion, Macy's will be able to utilize some of its real estate holdings to create liquid cash flows for paying down debt, repurchasing shares, and reinvesting in the future growth opportunities, thus increasing the company's overall market value. The retail industry has changed significantly over the past several years, and Macy's department store chain is aggressively implementing its omni-channel strategies for adapting to new customer buying behaviors. The mass adoption of smartphones and tablets has created an e-commerce revolution, providing society with a host of new methods for shopping. As shopping patterns continue to evolve, Macy's and Bloomingdale's are continuously adapting to improve the content and functionality of their websites and mobile applications to attract customers and provide an unparalleled shopping experience. This retailer has also expanded its shopping platform with fulfillment capabilities. These features allow consumers the opportunity to buy online, pick up in store, and provide same-day delivery in a number of markets nationwide. Additionally, Macy's Incorporated has opened its 5th direct-to-consumer fulfillment megacenter in Oklahoma. The other 4 are strategically located across the United States in Arizona, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Connecticut. This new 1.3 million square foot facility will utilize the latest technology and material handling equipment and warehouse management systems to efficiently receive orders and ship them quickly. Through the application and refining of its omni-channel strategy, Macy's unites its in-store and online business together in a seamless manner to ensure a smooth and consistent shopping experience. Here we get to take a look at the inside of Macy's direct-to-customer fulfillment center in Oklahoma.
Hi, I'm Robert Massey. In this section, I will be discussing corporate strategies and resources from a broad perspective, with a focus on 4 different subheadings, which entails corporate governance, corporate/social responsibility, value chain, and acquisitions/joint ventures. Let's get started. Corporate governance. This evolves around transparency and oversight. Transparency in Macy's case provides assurance to its stakeholders that Macy's is operating in an ethical and fair manner. By this assurance, Macy's files its reports to the Securities and Exchange Commission, since it is a public company, attesting to its financial numbers and information contained in those reports. Macy's Board of Directors also has a stake in this process and is accountable for its responsibilities. Macy's has 14 members on its Board of Directors. Each member works on a committee which may include the Audit Committee, Finance Committee, Nominating and Governance Committee, or the Compensation and Management Development Committee. Each of these committees has a set charter that formalizes their objectives and responsibilities along with their organizational structure. Macy's operates under the commission of a Principles of Corporate Governance document that outlines aspects of board makeup, succession plans, and how members are compensated, among other details. This is the general makeup of most public companies, which emphasizes its sole existence to provide a system of checks and balances for all stakeholders. Corporate and social responsibility. Macy's, along with other large public companies, are often the subject of conversation in terms of being socially responsible. Macy's not only talks about their responsibilities, but they uphold and take their responsibilities seriously by supporting sustainability efforts, environmentally friendly sourcing initiatives, and support within the local communities in which they do business, as well as supporting global initiatives. Macy's engages in various elements within their businesses of being a corporate and social responsibility partner. All of these activities and their various causes are generated annually in their report on social responsibility. These activities include sustainability, using energy efficient components such as solar panels when constructing new facilities or when modifying or replacing older components, eliminating waste reduction that contributes to less carbon in the atmosphere by using recyclable materials more often as opposed to one-time use products, by retrofitting lights with energy-saving LED lights. Macy's also has commissioned a 5-point plan which addresses eliminating wasteful behavior, reducing resources in terms of scarce resources, using the most environmentally friendly solution when possible, adopting an all-encompassing sustainability approach, and striving to quantify results for measurable goals. Supplier conduct. Macy's has adopted a supplier code of conduct and conducts audits to ensure suppliers are taking proactive measures that Macy's has asked of them while doing business. Macy's also has a conflict minerals policy to adhere to the conflict minerals rule mandated by the federal government that reduces funds for certain minerals within their brands that help support funding for human rights of users in the Democratic Republic of Congo and adjoining countries. Community support. Macy's supports numerous nonprofits along with offering matching contributions to employees that contribute to supportive causes. Company and employee contributions totaled nearly $71 million in 2015. The core areas of support are arts and culture, education, HIV/AIDS awareness and research, and women's issues. The number of charities Macy's supported in 2005 was 5,200. Macy's also has a volunteer program called Partners in Time, of which employees have contributed numerous hours to work on community projects. Macy's takes their corporate and social responsibilities very seriously by walking the walk and not merely just talking about it. Value chain. Macy's value chain has changed over the years. In the previous value chain, there was limited visibility from the order phase all the way to the customer receiving product. This model worked for many years for different reasons, mostly due to the lack of technology integration in the supply chain. However, as technology began to infiltrate supply chains, the value for more visibility was realized, which brought a need for change. Macy's was looking at Walmart as an early adopter of technology in their supply chain with radio frequency identification technology, which helped to increase visibility and efficiencies not realized before. Macy's studied Walmart's approach and developed their own ideas to use this technology. Instead of using the technology to track cases, pallets, etc. at the warehouse level on the inbound side, Macy's believed that more of their efficiencies could be derived from tracking inventory within stores and keeping stores replenished while maintaining accurate levels of inventory with an omni-channel approach. While Walmart and Macy's have different but somewhat similar business models in their supply chain processes, Macy's decided it needed to capitalize on its outbound side by keeping their shelves stocked and by creating more visibility within its customer-facing side, which has proven to generate more sales. As it has been a few years since Macy's adopted this technology, more technology has surfaced to help create more efficiencies. Among them of importance, as illustrated in the diagram above, is the integrated processes that allows visibility from one end to the other, total control, and more accurate inventory based on a demand model versus a forecasted push model. With Macy's new and improved value chain, e-commerce has brought another dynamic to the table that is causing some unrest, chiefly due to the brick and mortar visits being down and with the advent of Amazon and others with a similar business model. Macy's continues to respond with increasing its online presence and touting online shopping for its private label brands. Acquisitions and joint ventures. There's been a couple key acquisitions for Macy's in the last 12 years, one of which is Blue Mercury from back in February of 2015. This acquisition, as mentioned earlier in the presentation, has diversified its portfolio by offering higher-end products to this brand. The footprint of Blue Mercury continues to expand, and additional stores are scheduled for launch. Also, another key acquisition was May Department Stores in 2005. This acquisition has provided increased growth for Macy's within its department store model. As these two department stores were similar in nature, Macy's has gained additional markets as well as capitalized on reduced competition within these geographies. In terms of key joint ventures, Macy's has recently, as of last year, entered into an agreement with Fung Retailing. This joint venture is to help Macy's explore and test the China market from an e-commerce standpoint. As e-commerce is critical for survival among many retailers, this joint venture is expected to develop data on customer preferences and buying patterns within China. This concludes my section. Daniel will now discuss Macy's financial performance.
Hi, my name is Daniel Lawrence. Today I'm going to highlight the recent financial performance of Macy's Incorporated. I will go over key financial ratios and explain the short-term and long-term financial situation that Macy's is in and where they are headed. We will be able to understand what are the driving factors that is leading this retail giant to drastically alter their business structure to sustain their presence in this evolving market. On this slide, we can have a quick look at some high-level financials that will tell the story of Macy's success and the recent downfall of the organization. Starting with revenue, we can evaluate that in 2008, when the economy dipped, major retailers like Macy's felt it. In 2008, Macy's revenue was in excess of $26.3 billion, and in 2009 fell to $24.9 billion, and in 2010 fell to $23.5 billion. This is over a 10% drop in revenue in just 2 years. From 2011 to 2015, Macy's improved year over year due to the economy coming back to life. This growth came to a halt in 2015. In 2015, revenue was in excess of $28.1 billion. In 2016, fell to $27.1 billion. and in the past trailing 12 months, Macy's revenue is approximately $26.4 billion. This is over a 6% dip in 2 years. While Macy's revenues decreased, their operating income has fallen drastically. In 2015, Macy's had operating income in excess of $2.8 billion, and in the past trailing 12 months has fallen to only $1.6 billion, a 44% decrease in operating income since 2015. Net income has also dropped over 48% since 2015 year-end. Earnings per share as well as working capital have fallen substantially since 2015. Graphically looking at Macy's sales and profit margin, we can see the dip in 2008, followed by the strong comeback through 2015, preceded by the recent decline that Macy is faced with today. When evaluating Macy's liquidity ratios, we can determine the short-term financial health of the company. It is important to understand the factors that drive these ratios, which is the key to the sustainability of Macy's Incorporated. The current ratio is a liquidity ratio that measures a company's ability to pay short-term and long-term obligations. Macy's current ratio is 1.34. The quick ratio is a financial ratio used to gauge a company's liquidity. The quick ratio compares the total amount of cash, marketable securities, accounts receivable to the amount of liabilities. Macy's quick ratio is 0.37. Total current assets. This represents the value of all assets. Macy's total current assets are down from $8.7 billion in 2015 to $7.7 billion in 2016 year-end. I added this to show the recent shutdown of stores, thus reducing its current assets. In looking at Macy's profitability ratios, we can evaluate the gross margins and profit margins that pave the way to a healthy future. Gross margin is the difference between revenue and cost of goods sold, divided by revenue. Generally, it is calculated as the selling price of an item less the cost of the goods sold. In 2015, Macy's gross margin was 40% and has fallen to 39.1% in 2016 year-end. Profit margins measure how much of every dollar of sales a company actually keeps in earnings. In 2015, Macy's profit margin was 5.43% and has fallen to 3.9% in 2016. The debt-to-equity ratio is a debt ratio used to measure a company's financial leverage, calculated by dividing a company's total liabilities by its stockholder equity. The debt-to-equity ratio indicates how much debt a company is using to finance its assets relative to the amount of value represented in shareholders' equity. In 2015, Macy's debt-to-equity ratio was 1.37, and in 2016 has risen to 1.80. The interest coverage ratio is a debt ratio and profitability ratio used to determine how easily a company can pay interest on outstanding debt. In 2015, Macy's interest coverage ratio was 7.09, and in 2016 year-end has fallen to 5.62. The weighted average cost of capital is the rate that a company is expected to pay on average to all of its security holders to finance its assets. In 2015, Macy's weighted average cost of capital was 8.01, and in 2016 has fallen to 6.48. In conclusion, Macy's has had a rough year with several store closings due to their recent decline in sales and profitability. This drastic movement will give Macy's the opportunity to right-size its organization to put them in a position to earn a healthy profit year to year. It is paramount that Macy's stays up to date with evolving trends that will drastically impact their financials and the sustainability of their position in the market.
This section will sum up the presentation and discuss what future possibilities lay in store for Macy's. So what can Macy's do in the future to win a competitive advantage or at least be on the same playing field as their competitors? Macy's already plans on customizing merchandise for local markets, boosting online offerings, and improving the store experience. So a couple of recommendations are, first, since the retail industry is rapidly changing, Macy's can focus on trying to minimize risk by adding flexibility to its corporate strategy. Macy's can invest in real options that have growth opportunities. Discovery of these real options can allow Macy's to explore opportunities it otherwise would have not. Macy's can focus on its discount stores. Macy's is already dipping its toes into the waters of discount retailing by creating an off-price department store chain called Macy's Backstage. This is a good move for Macy's since many high-end department stores have opened more of their discount stores to remain competitive, since many consumers are still price sensitive. Macy's could follow in the footsteps of its main competitor, Nordstrom's, who has closed many of its underperforming traditional stores and opened multiple discount stores over the past 5 years. Next, Macy's can promote its image. Macy's already holds itself accountable for the impact it has on the world and has many social responsible programs. But it doesn't matter how much Macy's is doing to save the environment if nobody knows about it. Macy's can improve its overall public image by increasing spending on marketing these programs to the public. Having increased social awareness of what Macy's does to be socially responsible will establish Macy's as a retailer of choice and keep shoppers coming back. Macy's can invest more in e-commerce by acquiring several startups in the e-commerce shopping arena to update and expand its presence in the category. Companies like Tote and Rent the Runway are in the business of Netflix-style clothing rentals, sometimes called re-commerce, and this type of shopping is really hot right now. Macy's could invest in new technologies such as upgrading their traditional loyalty program. They could have a digital wallet on their app to keep coupons or remind customers when their coupons are expiring. They could also invest in a POS mobile device in brick and mortar stores that make checking out easier, especially during the holiday season. Macy's should also spend more on market research and start analyzing online and offline data together. Doing so will give them a more comprehensive picture of their customers' shopping journeys. A complete understanding of their customers' path to purchase is necessary so they can execute their omni-channel initiative more effectively and realize what other opportunities exist. Macy's can join more strategic partnerships as well. Macy's already has a partnership with Starbucks to sell coffee in 49 of its stores, and now they're serving alcohol alongside pumpkin spice lattes in its flagship store in New York City. On top of that, in September of 2016, Macy's announced that it would be the first department store to sell Apple Watches. Macy's could look into doing more of these type of ships, which will hopefully get shoppers off their smartphones and back into the stores. Overall, Macy's has had some difficult challenges to overcome, but if they play their cards right, they can continue to be a leader in the retail industry. This concludes our presentation on Macy's, and we hope you enjoyed it.